Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to the PBD Conservation Commission public hearing. Today is Wednesday, March 24th. Tonight's public hearing will be held by means of a Zoom webinar so that we can stay safe and meet the requirements set by Governor Baker. I will read Governor Baker's order suspending certain rules regarding public meetings. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, general laws, Chapter 30A, subsection 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing strict limitations on the number of people that may gather in one place. This meeting of PBD Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the great extent possible. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort we made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technical means. We will take questions after presentations of each public hearing and questions from the commission. Okay. Tonight with us, we have commissioners Bruce Carmack, Vice Chairman, Arthur Athos, Amanda Green, Mike Vivaldi, and me, Mike Rizzo. I believe everybody will have voting privileges tonight, Lucia. And our next meeting, I believe, is scheduled for April 21st, and then May 19th, and then about June 16th. Item one.
Travis just joined.
Oh, Travis. Hi, Travis. And Travis Watkins is here also. Thank you. Then will Amanda have voting privileges, Lucia?
Yes.
Okay. Very good. All right. Item number one on the agenda is under extensions request. It's a continued request for an extension permit on DEP file number 55-673. The request is being made by attorney M. Singer and Kyle Krupe. Project is a single-family home located on 1 Antonio Drive, map 106, lot 98. The order expired on May 15th, 2020. Applicant is asking for a 1-year extension per the local ordinance. Lucia had some comments about this project, goes back quite a ways. 2007. So is the, you want to talk about this, Lucia? Is the petitioner here tonight?
Yep. It is Attorney Singer. I have promoted him to a panelist.
Okay.
I think it's probably best that he explains what's going on.
Sure.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Steve Singer. I'm an attorney. I have an office in Wakefield. I'm also a PBD resident. I'm here on behalf of Kyle Krupe, trustee of Little's Hill Realty Trust, the owner of the subject premises. I am aware of how long this order has been in effect, and that you folks have granted extensions year to year on this. This order actually is extended until May of this year, and I'm here to request an additional 1-year extension. I've been working with this project for over 15 years. The problem that we've run into with this particular lot is that a portion of the lot was part of the former layout of Old Linfield Street. And when Mr. Krupe started this project, this particular lot in question was part of a layout that had not yet been discontinued. And at the time, I got involved with it. We were approaching the Essex County government to request a discontinuance. And right before we had our petition in place, Essex County government no longer existed. And for a period of several years, until specific special legislation was created to establish what's known as the Metropolitan Area Planning Council, we could not even do what we needed to do to discontinue the portion of Old Linfield Street that had been remaining, and which is part of the subject lot, as well as several of the abutting properties, which we had committed to giving land to once the discontinuance took place. And that took several years until about 2015. And at that time, when we finally got the road discontinued, we learned that the land court had determined that a portion of that road was still considered land court land, and portions of it had to be broken up, and one small piece of the subject lot is still in the land court engineering department. And of course, this last year, we have been able to do pretty much nothing with this particular issue. Land court's only taking emergency matters. I've only been able to get a couple of routine petitions through to this point. I think notwithstanding the special statute concerning permit extensions does apply to this, but my client and I wanted to, and at the suggestion of Lucia, to come before you to formally request another year's extension on this with the hope of getting this thing accomplished.
Okay.
Ask a question, Mr. Chairman, to the chair. What exactly is the project that's holding everything up, or what was the original intent?
Well, it's a rather complicated legal and engineering issue with the land court. As a lawyer, I've dealt with the land court on many matters. Unfortunately, they're very technical. And so once this particular lot, there's a lot line that runs at an angle. And I know you probably don't have any of the plans, but suffice it to say that the lot line of this particular lot cuts at an angle across what was the old layout of Old Linfield Street. And once we finally got the discontinuance, the land court interpreted the fee ownership to run not at that angle, but in a parallel line with the former layout of the roadway, which then required us to engineer parcels of land that required us to create a lot line agreement and an acknowledgement by one of the abutters to the lot line that was laid out by the planning board for this particular lot. And at this point, we have been through detailed engineering with the land court and in discussions with the abutting property owner. Actually, so the line in question is, I don't know, I can't really, yeah, this line right there. Can you see what I'm pointing to or no?
Yeah.
So this was the layout of Old Linfield Street, ran like this all the way down to here at one time. This line here, the land court says, well, the abutting property owner, I know the way it's laid out on the assessor's map, but the fee ownership is not divided according to this line here, but rather a straight line that used to run down the middle of what was Old Linfield Street.
Actually,
And this is just, I'm
they
sorry.
can't see you pointing because it's my screen. Is it
I'm
the
sorry.
106-018H or
Yeah.
is it the 106?
Yes, correct. Yeah,
So
we are 106 -098.
So it's this one right here.
That's us.
Okay.
So it's a small piece of what is shown to be part of 106.018H. And that part of that lot, it doesn't show it, was part of Old Linfield Street. There's a little sliver in there that needs to be incorporated legally in terms of what they call the fee ownership in our lot. And it's right now only because of the abandonment or discontinuance that this has become an issue. And we've been struggling with the land court to get this done. We've had the chief title examiner retire, the chief engineer retire, and then we just got hit this last year with the pandemic, and they're not even, for the past 12 months have not been working full-time, and the engineers are not accessible. The court was not accessible. Personal appointments were not available. It's just, unfortunately, we had hopes of this getting resolved this past year.
Are the lots that are colored in green, are those have been built?
Yes, well, no, I take that back. 106-115 has not, and so it's that one, which also was involved in the layout, in 106-1098. But your jurisdiction involves just 106-098, where the pond is in there, in the rear to that lot.
Yeah.
Believe me, my client is more than anxious to finish this project. And I've made a career out of it, and that was not my intention either.
Through the chair,
Yes.
I was just wondering, do you anticipate, obviously you can't foresee land court matters when they'll be back up to speed, but do you anticipate having to come back for another extension?
I can only say I hope not. And again, this is something that my client would have liked to have broken ground last year. And we had made some progress, but not to the point, and we're just not there yet. It's such a small piece of this lot, unfortunately, but the land court is so technical in nature. They had to go out and do specific surveys of these parcels for my client to particular standards, and which has been under review.
Thank you.
So does anybody, including Lucia, does anybody feel that we shouldn't issue an extension? Sounds like they do want to get this done.
I mean, I don't see any reason we shouldn't issue an extension, except I don't feel bad for Mr. Krupe. The lot price keeps going up and up and up. So anyway, I don't see any reason to not issue an extension.
Lucia?
I mean, if you guys don't extend it, he's just going to come back with an NOI for a single family house. And I mean, eventually a single family house is going to be there.
Yeah.
Because I don't think we want anything else other than a single family house there. So
The other thing would be, it's 15 years old. Is there anything in the order of conditions that, maybe is outdated now?
That's a good point.
That if this goes through, that, we'll be bound by those conditions.
Oh, you guys don't have to vote tonight because it is told. It's told the entire state of emergency period, and he even got it extended further because he requested an extension last year.
Mhm.
So That might be, even make it more confusing. So I mean, technically, it's not expired and it's not going to expire until after the state of emergency is lifted. And then I think they'll have 45 days to request an extension if that's the case. I did not pull this file because it is so old. I didn't even think to pull it because it's in a very interesting space. I can certainly pull the file, or if you want me to do a title search right now, I can pull it up if you have the book and page, Attorney Singer.
Okay, no, I don't think we need to.
I don't think it's going to be that crazy of an order. It's a single family house. What would have changed?
Yeah, I just remember the other homes in that subdivision, we made them pull those homes way close to the street as far as we could to provide enough distance from the pond in the back. So, right now we don't have a plan. If the plan comes to us, we're gonna expect, at least I would expect the same layout, close.
Well, yeah, if he doesn't build, he would be out of compliance and you guys don't ever have to give him a certificate of compliance and he won't ever be able to sell it to and no bank is going to give him a loan if they don't have a certificate of compliance on a brand new house.
I think there was a proposed foundation location on this. I'm looking at it's a copy of the discontinuance plan. It's not the subdivision plan, but and I myself was not involved in any of the conservation hearings. Other local council took care of that at the time. But Mr. Krupe is an experienced builder and he understands the commission's authority.
I'm trying to look it up right now if you guys want me to. It would be easier if I had a book and page though, because otherwise I'm just doing.
I mean, I have a copy of that original order. It's on the registered land side. I'm trying to see if I have the actual, if this was the recorded one or the one we just filed last year. And let me just see if the stamp, registry stamp is on it, but it was. But it is on the registered land side. It's just, I'm looking at it now, I don't believe there was any special conditions attached to this as I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I kind of want to fool myself also.
Oh, it's, hold on, I think I have the instrument number for you. Well, it's the document number. Are you there?
Yeah.
Tricia?
Yep, I think I just found it.
Okay.
Wait, no, this is 446.
It's the document number. If you look it up by document number, it's 60.
Yep, I know how to do a title search. You know what to do?
Oh, no, I'm just trying to be helpful.
There's just a few of them because he built out the whole subdivision. So what is the document number?
This one is 600108.
That is not showing up.
You on the registered land side?
I am. I
Oh,
can.
no, I'm just trying to be helpful. Like I said, the certificate number says noted on certificate 76921. Book 417.
I mean, there's so many in his name that I'm looking up and because he is a contractor, so.
Oh yeah, no, but with the document number, you should be able to find that again on the registered land side. Excuse me.
I'm not trying to be rude, but I wasn't expecting to do a title search live.
You don't have to. You don't
Well,
have,
I want to make sure, I mean, if you guys are gonna, I would rather clear this up and, you know, I would rather close this than wait. I think I did find it. It's just, they do not make it easy on here. Is it 673?
I'm sorry, the document number?
The DEP file number.
Oh,
yes,
yes, yes. Yes, that's it. Ye-
So these are the special conditions.
That's interesting. Unless I didn't print the whole thing. It's the one I have a copy of here.
So these are the special conditions that I
Wait a
would
minute.
say you guys probably care about. That if you were not to continue or to not extend this, these would have to be conditions that you would probably want to make sure you cite on a new plan.
yeah. Well, it's been this long, maybe we just continue it.
Is there going to be a stone wall?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I can't say that I've actually read this in years. But if there was a condition of such, then I would expect that he would be building according to the plan. I'm assuming, well, this actually,
This one was for 1 and 7, I believe. So he already has the partial for number 7 and people already moved in a long time ago.
yeah,
So yeah, I'm just reading number 49. There will be no cutting of vegetation outside the delineation of the stone wall on certain lots. So yeah, this is one where, I mean, this is so old that everyone is already, this lot and the lot across the street are the only two that do not have a house on them yet.
that's
So yes,
correct.
this is for 1 and 7.
Correct.
Yeah, I could be wrong. I'm thinking of the subdivision and something reminds me that when they were building this subdivision where the pond was, that we had them line up stones, like large boulders or stones along the back there so just to don't go past these stones.
I think that was on a different lot along Linfield.
Okay,
That was on this house right here. They have stones back here and they still are. I drive by all the time and see the yard. And then there was I think there's an actual stone wall right here. And I don't think this house needed a stone wall. And I can't really see what that is. Maybe that's a stone wall. I can't see with the vegetation. So I would imagine if the stone wall, the whole reason why I brought up the stone wall is because the order says you can't cut beyond the stone wall. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that they were in agreement. I'll get back to that. Yeah, outside the delineation of the stone wall for protection of habitat unless a tree is dead or prohibits placement of the stone wall.
Hello?
Are you guys waiting for me to say something?
now just reading some of those conditions. I mean, the kitchen conditions look like conditions we'd use anyways. The only thing that we probably don't mention, we what markers we have about the wetland markers and so forth with the bounds, granite bounds. And those probably aren't in here because this goes back 15 years. Yeah, I guess I'd be okay to extend it. If the commission wants to do that.
So Lucia, if we extend it,
Yeah,
if we extend it for a year, and then let's just say there's, what does that do with the, I mean, does he get 2 more years based on the pandemic?
Well, as of right now, he already has it. He technically he doesn't even need to be here tonight, but I suggested that Attorney Singer come tonight and talk about all this because it's a 13-year-old file. I mean, I don't even think I was the agent when this, I didn't even work on this as the agent. I was the clerk at the time. So it's a really old file. And I wanted to know what the legal issues were because I've just been hearing over the last, 10 years that it's legal issues and it has something to do with land court. Now the regulations do say that the commission does not need to extend an order of conditions. There's only a few reasons, and one of them is a legal issue. So you guys don't have to extend it. If you feel that this order no longer protects the interests of the act. I don't think it's going to change much. If you guys had him file a new NOI, I mean, it might be cleaner for him. And it just, what I would say, if that's the route you want to take, maybe think about what your extra conditions would be. But let's say he can break ground tomorrow and he starts breaking ground, or let's say he breaks ground on May 21 when it technically doesn't expire. But as soon as he breaks ground, you guys kind of have to extend it at that point. It's the way the regs read is if they haven't started work, you don't have to, but you do not have to extend it. You should extend it though if there is a legal issue, which I haven't seen any legal documents, but I would assume that what Attorney Singer is saying is correct. Although I don't understand it 100%, I would imagine it's the truth.
yeah.
In that case, I would like to make a motion to issue an extension.
Second that.
Okay, all in favor? You want to take a roll call on that, Lucia, or do we have to?
Yes, you do. So when you extend it, are we going to do 1 year per our local ordinance?
Yes,
Okay, so then this is where it gets a little confusing with extending during the state of emergency. Because if you extend it tonight, 1 year would be, I think it's 5/15/2022. But then it would be, then we would also add another 10 months, I think, whatever May to another 10 months. So then it would be whatever May added another 10 months. So it would expire sometime in 23.
Basically March 2023.
There you go. You're smart. Thank you. So it would go to March 15th, 20. Does that sound correct to you, Attorney Singer?
Yeah, based on the that legislation that we discussed that's in place right now.
So that's as if, tomorrow the state of emergency gets lifted. So even if once I draft this order or this extension, he will have until March 15th, 2023. And then, I would hope that the work would be done by then. And if it's not, that's probably where I would tell you guys not to extend it again at that point, unless he can prove that the toiling period added more time, because technically the pandemic's not going to end tomorrow. So he's probably going to get another 5-6 months added on anyway. So in reality, you're almost doing a 2-year extension tonight, I would say, which I'm fine with, because I really don't think a new NOI is going to do much except, incur more city fees and more work for me to do. And
yeah, all right,
that,
let's do that.
All right, so I have a motion on the floor to extend it to March 15th, 2023, as made by Travis. Do I have a second?
I believe that was Bruce.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes,
Vice Chairman Comack,
Yes,
Commissioner Athos,
Yes,
Commissioner Green,
Yes,
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojcik.
Yes.
All right, so it is extended unanimously to March 15th, 2023, and then for whatever the duration is of the extending of the state of emergency, and that will be up to you to figure that out, Attorney Singer.
Thank you. Yes, well, I hope I don't have to do that math.
Yeah, I am hoping that he'll have it started already by 2023.
Yes,
Didn't we
Long
just
before.
clarify, didn't we say 2022 and then you said that depending on the timeline of the pandemic, state of emergency?
Yep, my extension will say, my extension will actually have to say March 15th, 2023, because otherwise he's getting gypped 9 months or 10 months. So he has an extension already. So that's the way I did it on the last one. We extended it 1 year plus the 9 months tolling. So now it's a month later. So 1 year plus the 10 months later.
okay,
That's the way I understand the law. I'm not an attorney, and that is how it was explained to me by 2 attorneys. And so I'm just doing the best I can. I can't really get any other confirmation except that's the way I understand it.
excellent. Okay.
thank you, members of the commission. Have a
Wow.
good evening. Thank you, Lucia.
You're very welcome.
Take care. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is under request for determination of applicability. The public hearing on a request for determination of applicability submitted by Oak Consulting Group LLC, Paul Avery. Proposed work is to raise existing vacant office building. Property is known as 17 Centennial Drive, map 82, lot 3 in Peabody.
I am promoting, I just promoted someone from Combined Properties and to a panelist, and now I just promoted the consultant from Oak Group. So once they're panelists, they can unmute themselves and turn their camera on. I don't know if there's anyone else that needs to.
Yeah, hi, I'm here, Paul Avio Consulting Group, who filed the application. I see Brian Cafferty from Combined Properties is here. Brian, is that it from your office?
Yeah, I'll be the only one participating
Okay.
from the office.
If I can share screen, I can do a walkthrough if that works for everybody.
Yep,
Okay.
I'm just gonna give you the ability to share the screen. You just gotta give me a second. All right, you should be able to share your screen. It might take
No,
second.
I think I got it.
Okay, great.
So, let me know if this works. Do you see a aerial photograph?
Yes.
Okay. Again, I'm Paul Avrio Consulting Group, representing Combined Properties. Combined Properties owns this building locating at 17 Centennial Drive. If you're not familiar, this is sort of the whole on-ramp, off-ramp from 128 up in this area. Across the street is Boston Children's Hospital, and Centennial Drive continues off to the west. So this is the property that's more or less right in front of you if you're coming off the highway and hitting the lights and that sort of thing. Here's the office building. It's been empty now for a number of years. Brian could tell you how many, but I think it's in the order of 5 or something like that. And what there is on this site, can everyone hear me okay? I'm hearing a little bit of feedback or something. We're good? Can you hear
Yes.
me okay? Okay, so this area in here shown with like the blue line is basically, it's a big constructed wetland. It's a big basin really, and it was one of its primary functions is flood control, not only for this property, but from water coming in from the northwest off of 128 and that type of thing. And it was flagged a number of years ago and is considered a jurisdictional wetland at the bottom of the slope. I think the line on it is very clear because the slopes are quite steep. The red line is the 100-foot buffer zone. As you can see, the building falls a portion of it within the buffer zone. So therefore, we're looking to demolish this building within the buffer zone. That's it. There are no plans at this point in time to redevelop the property. Basically, the building has outlived its useful life. It sort of is a conglomerate of different pieces that went on at different pieces of time. And, Combined Properties has had it for a while, and it sort of isn't really suitable for any particular tenants anymore. So the game plan is to move on from here, but there's no specific plan being proposed at this point in time to do that. All we're looking to do is to take the building down. The plans that were submitted, the next one here, I'll just jump up a page, and this plan here is the plan that we've got proposed to do the work. In essence, this dash line here represents the limit of work. Are there questions? Okay. Dash line represents the limit of work. The building itself will be knocked down. We're putting erosion control measures around the down gradient section of work, and then proposing to fill it back in again. The depression, we don't think the excavation is going to be very deep. It's mostly a slab on grade building, but the contours here represent how we propose to regrade it. And that is basically it. Restoring the site with loam and seed. We've got another sheet of erosion control notes with a couple details on an erosion control barrier and catch basin inlet protection. And that's it. And happy to entertain questions that anyone may have.
Which way do those grades go? Are they going towards the, is it sloping towards the resource area?
Yep. So it slopes down this way.
Okay, yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's pretty, this is a large scale drawing. And if you look at it, it looks like, 101, 198, it looks like it's going to be steep in here, but really it isn't. Those contours are 5 feet apart. So, that's 1 in 5. And, that's not what would be considered a particularly steep slope. So, and then it flattens out afterwards. We just kind of, trying to, as you can see here, connect the dots of the equivalent grades on either side of the building footprint.
But when you raise the building and you grade that, with regard to tonight you're just seeing whether or not it's applicable, and whether or not you can get a negative determination. But is there anything before us tonight that tells us what you're doing to the site after you raised it relative to plantings and material and?
We're going to restore the building site with loam and seed, and that's part of the submission and called out in the plans.
And the existing so you'll saw cut, or the existing parking lot will stay the way it is?
Yep. We'll have to disconnect the utilities, which is standard operating procedure for, getting a demolition permit, which we'll need to get. But that's it. So, basically, as called out in the note here on the screen, raise the building, backfill the excavation and store with loam and seed, and approximate grade shown, maximum slope 5 to 1.
So through the chair, so the plan is basically the property is going to be abandoned for a while? Or you just don't have any plans yet?
We don't have any plans yet.
At this point, we have no tenant lined up, or frankly, nobody lined up for the property. It's just that we've had it for over a decade, and it's laying empty for a decade. We've done some we've put Band-Aids on it to keep it going, but everybody who's looked at the property has had no interest in retaining the building. So we think that by taking this step, we eliminate a potential hazard and get it hopefully one step closer to being redeveloped. But there's no specific plan at this time.
Have you spoke with Public Services about this, about raising the building and anything that might be of concern to them in that process?
I believe Rich Gray in our office has been. I know he's been speaking to them about the cutoffs and how to handle all that. I know we've had a contractor through there to eliminate hazardous materials. And whatever hasn't been removed will be, we're very careful about that, particularly given the detention basin adjacent to it.
Okay. And where are the utilities coming in? Like, was this building sprinklered and all that stuff?
Yes, I believe it was.
The parking lot area going to remain the parking lot asphalt, or is that going to be removed?
That's going to remain, and it's going to remain. Whenever future development may come in here, we'll almost certainly do something different with it and reconfigure it. But the limit of work, this big dashed heavy gray line here that goes around it, that's sort of the limit of work. And the only reason it extends out further than immediately around the building here is just because we've got to disconnect the utilities from the street.
So I guess with regard to resource area, it sounds like it's certainly the demolition can be controlled such that it shouldn't impact the resource area. But raising the building, I don't know what's in the building, the materials, chemicals, dust. That's something I would expect, or I would like to have DPS maybe take a look at. What was the building before? Can you tell us what was in that building before?
It was a medical office building.
So is anything that was hazardous or might have been hazardous in the building, is that already had been removed?
Yes, with the exception of I'm not sure about things like asbestos in the caulking and things like that, but I know that the building is completely empty at this point. Everything has been removed. I know that they went in and have removed the oils from the elevator and things like that. So it's we've been responsible property owners and have that in mind throughout this process.
So
Through the chair,
yes.
We need to know, right before he said it, I actually jotted it down, asbestos in the tiles, because if there is asbestos in the tiles or in caulking, window caulking or anything, if this building is demoed without that being removed, all of the debris is going to be considered contaminated. So that's something we need to know beforehand, and they need to know.
Asbestos. I actually just got an update from someone in the office that all the asbestos has already been removed, and we have a sign off of that. If it hasn't been submitted, it may have been uploaded by Rich Gray. If not, we'll be sure it is tomorrow morning.
Is there a LSP on this site or in this tied to this project?
It's not a disposal site, is it? I don't think it is. So an LSP wouldn't be involved in it. I mean,
No, it's not a disposal site. It's clean.
I'd like to ask about the sedimentation barrier. Is there like a little profile of what you're using for sedimentation?
yeah, we have got a detail on that here, and
Yeah.
we're just going basically with the straw wattles, silt socks. That's what we're proposing for the barrier in the parking lot, and then we've got the silt sacks, or these things that go under the catch basin grate, which is pretty much standard fare.
I would, if Michael would support it, I would, in the commission, I would recommend the black fencing as well as on top, additionally to the silt sock.
Say that again, Mike, I couldn't hear you.
I would like to see, my recommendation would be to have the black filter fabric as well, I think. Do with the additional wattle as well. Behind it.
Oh, a silt fence. You want a silt fence?
Yeah, you'd like the silt fence with the straw wattles.
I think it, due to the potential, I'm not, that's my recommendation. I don't know what Mike thinks or the rest of the commission.
Well, that'd be a good idea. That'd be fine. That would be helpful. Like if when they're taking the building down, if it's windy and the breeze going to blow into the resource, that kind of stuff. The silt fence would help to mitigate some of that.
I don't think that's a problem.
No,
Through the chair.
That's not a problem.
Yes.
Have you guys spoken to the health department yet about are you going to need a water truck on site, and are you going to have to, I'm assuming that you're going to have to put the rat traps down, and if you are, I believe if it's near wetlands, they cannot have any poison in them. So I just started jotting things down as we were going, and I have added a few conditions or recommended conditions at this point.
I know Rich in the office has been speaking with an exterminator to get them out there so that we have, I think is it a 2-week period beforehand? We have to be out there with the rat trap.
And I believe that when it's near wetlands, you cannot use poison. And now that we know we have a peregrine falcon population in PBD, we definitely don't want poison near there.
Understood.
You'll have to check with health department about their laws. I'm almost positive there is a condition about not having poison near wetlands, but that's something you need to check with. I believe it's Randy is the rat guy.
Yeah, I think Rich Gray in our office has been had ongoing conversations with the health department.
Okay.
I believe, through the chair, I believe that, the health department will be, believe the health department will be on top of this. Anytime you apply for demolition permit, there's all kinds of hoops you have to jump through. I am not sure what, I think Lucia's right about, we have to worry about certain environmental issues as far as the demolition, but I think the health department would be, that's in their purview. As far as conservation, as far as what we're worried about, I think as long as we protect any siltation and anything down, from getting into the wetlands, I believe that's all we really should be worrying about at this point. And also that, they're gonna, he's gonna loam and seed the site, so I'm sure, until they eventually develop it, which is gonna require a new NOI anyway. You know, I don't see any reason to not issue them what they need. For, yeah, they're just looking for a negative determination, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't see
but we
that.
can put conditions on it, so we can put whatever conditions,
Right, I think Lucia's conditions are important.
all right. So, any other commissions want to speak on this matter? Is there anybody here present outside of the petitioners that want to speak on this matter?
So far, I do not see anyone raising their hand. And if you just tell me if you want me to read my recommended conditions. I don't see anyone.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
I can read my conditions, and then if someone raises their hand, no one has contacted me about this, so
okay.
normally if someone's come into a meeting, they let me know. So the conditions would be short and sweet. It would be the typical staff to inspect erosion control logs and catch basin protection before work can commence. No plastic meshing is allowed in PBD. Number 2, work should be done according to building, DPS, and health department requirements. Number 3, clean fill, obviously, but I just like to add that just in case. And 4, these are the 2 I just jotted down now. 4 is evidence that asbestos has been removed, because if it isn't, that's a whole big issue. And you will run into a very hefty amount of money to dispose of the entire building as asbestos. So those would be my 4 conditions.
Sounds good. So I guess, but that all sounds great, and probably my biggest concern would be just during the demolition and wind, debris blowing into the resource area. I don't know how we mitigate that short of putting this fence up. I really don't know if that's necessary.
Someone did just raise their hand. So whenever you want to open it to public, but you can continue talking about if you want to add the extra silt fence detail. So we would need a revised detail sheet if that was the case.
Yeah. Okay, if there's somebody who wanted to speak, I'd like to hear.
Yes, I'm Ann DiStefano, and I own the building next door. It's a medical building, and I've never seen a building raised before. I'm just concerned about the air quality when they do the process.
Yeah.
How do they, with patients in the building, do they do it on the weekend, or how do we keep the dust down? How does it, do they put some kind of covering on it when they demolish it? How do they? How do they do that process?
You guys know that answer yet?
Well, I'm not a demolition expert, but, I think that, the conditions when you go for a demolition permit, the dust control, asbestos and other hazardous material mitigation, all those things are generally prescriptive. That, it would include appropriate measures and that sort of thing. I'm not in that business, so I don't know specifically what they are.
And sometimes if there's, in keeping dust down, sometimes you have to keep the site wet, building materials are kind of wet a little bit, and
yeah,
keep any dust down, but then you have to be concerned about that runoff, where that's going and how you handle that.
Will they notify the abutters on the day that they'll be doing the raising?
Yeah, they would. They would, put that down as a condition. What kind of patients do you have in your building?
PBD dialysis center.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And at least 6 days a week, and then internal medicine and a surgical eye
Yeah.
consultant. So it's
So yeah, I definitely would like to hear from the health department. Just to make sure that what needs to happen in terms of raising that building and keeping the air quality as clean and safe as possible. There's something we're missing, something we're not asking about.
Well, yeah, and I mean, all of that is pretty much what the the demo permits are all about.
Yeah.
You know, is to make sure that we're complying with all the local regulations for everything that we've been talking about for the last few minutes. That's why you have to get a demo permit, so.
Yeah. Okay, then I'll rely on the demo permit to have all the important parts that in the butter, certainly a medical building is a concern, that the process goes correctly.
Yeah.
And safely. As far as the resource area, I think we've kind of covered our end of it. How about you, Lucia? Anything else?
Well, that's what I was asking earlier, was if they were going to have a water truck and
Yeah.
on site. And so that would fall under the condition number 2, that the work needs to be done per building, DPS, and health department requirements.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if they need to notify abutters, though. They need to certainly notify me. So, I mean, perhaps Anne could email me. But I mean, then what if I'm not working or something, or I'm out sick, or I'm on vacation and I don't return a call or an email, or I forget to write to her? So I don't know how that requirement, I don't know what requirements other departments would have. I don't know if they need to notify abutters, and I don't know if that's something you guys want to condition.
Yeah.
And if you are gonna condition it, how, like, every abutter, like everyone on the list needs to get notified? How would you expect them to do that? You certainly can do that.
Well, probably the good part that the site is large enough that, you know, trucks coming in to get the debris, have places to turn around and so forth, and it's mostly a very large paved area, so cleanup would be relatively simple. It's all paved.
Could I have someone's email address to communicate with?
Yeah, because Lucia, once all the erosion control measures are in place, Lucia has to inspect those prior to any work that's going to take place. So we have an idea about when probably the building is scheduled to be raised, and then share that with you.
I would suggest that, Ann, if you email me directly, and we'll reach out before when we have a more definite date, in addition to what the city, you know, in addition to Lucia as well.
Okay. Could I have like your phone number, or?
Why don't I give you my email address?
Okay.
It's B Cafferty, CAFFERTY at combinedproperties.com.
Okay.
And then if you zip me an email, I'll make sure, I'll get it to Rich, and we'll make sure that you get notice.
Okay, great. Great. Thank you.
Okay. So do you want to issue a negative determination with the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7 conditions that Lucia has spelled out?
So moved.
Do I have a
One
second?
of those conditions, the revision of the detail.
Yes, I will revise the detail and resubmit the plans.
I will second the motion.
First, you guys actually need to close the
Close
hearing.
public hearing, right?
Yeah, I need
I
a
will
motion.
make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second,
I'm gonna do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes,
Vice Chairman Comack,
yes,
Commissioner Athos,
Yes,
Commissioner Green,
yes,
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojcik.
Yes.
All right, and before you make the motion, I actually only have 4 conditions. One, staff to inspect erosion control, logs and catch basin protection. It would be and silt fence and catch basin protection before work can commence. No plastic meshing allowed. 2, work should be done per building DPS and health department requirements. 3, clean fill must be used, obviously. And 4, evidence that asbestos and any other hazardous materials have been removed before demo.
okay, and as far as bills of lading, that must be part of the demolition, probably part of the demolition.
If you want a bill of lading,
Okay,
so I would move to approve a negative determination with the stated conditions.
okay. Second on that,
Second.
second by Travers.
okay, I'm gonna go do a roll call. So the motion is on the floor. Were you guys, did you want a bill of lading add in as condition number 5?
If it's not included as far as the demolition permit, I would. So imagine there will be one on either case, just so we get a copy of it.
And you would want that at the end of, once the work is all done. I think that's the problem I have with like determination sometimes, is that people never think they need to come back to us at the end. So I just never hear from people and don't know if work was done correctly.
Then we'll ask for the bill laden.
All right. And I will do a roll call on that. Is the applicant okay with all those conditions?
Yes, that's fine.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a roll call on the motion for a negative determination with the 5 conditions I just read aloud. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes,
Vice Chairman Comack,
yes,
Commissioner Athos,
Yes,
Commissioner Green,
yes,
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojcik.
Yes.
All right, it passes unanimously with the 5 conditions, and we do need a revised plan showing the silt fence, and you are gonna get Brian, you're gonna get in touch with Ann. So,
Yeah, I gave her my email address and she'll get me her contact information and we'll be in touch. We'll give her as much heads up as we can before the actual demolition occurs.
wonderful.
Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You okay, Lucia, to move forward?
I just promoted the next 2 people to panelists, but of course they shouldn't be speaking until you give them, you tell them to speak.
Okay. Item number 3 on the agenda is under notices of intent. It's a public hearing on a notice of intent submitted by Nativ Tech, Robert Marini, and Janice Schultz, owner. Proposed project is the construction of a garage and breezeway attached to a single-family residence. Property is known as 11 Glendale Avenue, in the city of Peabody.
This is Rob Marini in Native Tech. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
I'm gonna, okay. We're located at 31 Monroe Street in Lynn. We do have a DEP file number 055-0888 for 11 Glendale Ave, proposing a garage and porch. Now, first thing is most of the area that the garage and porch will be located on is already paved. There's about a 4-foot strip along the back that is grass now that will be garage and porch. About a 6-foot strip, about actually. Can I share a screen here? Let me see.
Yep. I just, I have allowed it so that you can absolutely share your screen. I think the pictures are the best.
Pictures.
Well, the plan is great too, but the pictures just so they can get a better idea once, you know, obviously after.
Yeah, let me see if I can get into that folder. Anyway, while I'm looking for it here, there's an intermittent stream. Oh, I know. There's an intermittent stream. And that's the evidence of that is in the stream stats pages that are in the NOI. You'll see a list. Here are some pictures here. Let's see, share this. Can you see the NOI?
yes,
Okay, you see the pictures? You see the pictures okay? Can you see the pictures?
Yep,
Okay, good. There's a fence along the stream, and basically, I believe this was BVW one time, because downstream you could see a ponded area that's adjacent to the stream. I think that there was a shelf of fill built up to the stream, and because it's Merrimack Urban Land Complex, and I believe that this is Phil Lynn for most of the bank, and so there is a stream there. It's naturally flowing. You can see from the plan that proposed house and garage does not get within 25 feet, it's like 27 feet from the flagged, from the nearest flagging. And I've shown silt sock inside, the inside face of the fence. So, and that could be tethered to the fence. The fence itself could be used as a stabilizer. So, so that there isn't sediment flowing into the stream. The other side of the stream is real nice and natural. Some rocky summit. In fact, Janice said she walked to the top of that. She's got a great view from there. So, oh, by the way, I did inform the abutters. I could drop this off. I was holding up until I could see if I can get some more of them, but I got a good deal of abutters notified here of the list. I notified the whole list. I could drop that off tomorrow if you like. So basically, they'll be removing some of the bituminous. You know, they'll remove it neatly, hopefully saw cut, and remove it so that it's very neat, and they can work from the bituminous concrete driveway towards the proposed garage and stage their construction so that they're working on the existing driveway. They're working on the existing backup area of the driveway and pulling back the excavation to towards or away from the stream so that they don't have to disturb any more of the buffer zone than indicated. Do you have any questions?
So basically where the garage and breezeway is proposed is already paved.
Most of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of it. There's about a 6-foot strip running along the line of this back of the house that isn't. And we tried to show it so that we had to go forward to the stream so to allow enough backup room, because there's a fence in back of where the cars are backing up. So, and when they're backing up, they have to back up straight. They can't begin to turn. So we had to keep that. It's kind of a tight turn there, but that's what we have. There's still about 20. The closest point to the flagging is about 27 feet.
Yeah, and then the distance from the corner of the garage to the side lot is about 11 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it looks like the
To the
grass.
property line.
It looks like the grass area that's on that side will stay. I mean, it won't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
I have large pictures too. If you guys, when you're done with the plan, if you want me, it gives you a little bit better of idea. They're larger, so you'll be able to see the land a little bit better, including the driveway.
Okay. I mean, in addition to the ones that are in the file?
Yeah, they're just larger. They're not like you'll be able to see them a little bit better on the computer on Zoom, and anyone in the audience will be able to see them as well if they've never been on their site.
Okay, you want to show those then?
Sure. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stop you from screen sharing, Robert.
Okay.
So this is these, Robert sent me these, and I just thought that these really show you what, this is exactly where it's going.
Yeah.
And this is the stream, AKA the paper street. This is a street, believe it or not. Paper street. This one, this is looking at the end of the paper street, correct? Robert, this is
Yeah,
at the end of like that little bit of Troy Road.
Troy, from Troy, yes.
So. I think these are, this fence, what Robert said, I chatted with him before the hearing, and I think that as long as this fence is kept up, if they want to take it down after, I think if the fence is kept up during the duration of the work and the compost log or the straw wattles tethered to it as extra protection, I think that would be a very good erosion control measure to keep any debris out of this stream. It is an intermittent stream, but it is still a valuable resource in our city.
Yeah, so that'd be good. And we'll get keeping that fence there during this work. It'd be great.
Did you want me to bring the plan up again?
Okay.
Here we go. I can, yeah, all right, you got it? Okay.
It's way down, right? Here it is.
There you go. You'd have to rotate it there, but there you go, good.
Okay. Does anybody on the commission have any questions or concerns? No? No questions?
Yep, there are two people in the audience when the time comes to open it to members of the public. My conditions would be through the chair. All work must be done, would be 1 through 50, adding the special conditions. 51, all work must be done on the owner's property. No work shall be allowed on the paper street, AKA the bank of the intermittent stream. 52, erosion controls must be inspected before work can commence, and the fence should remain erected during the length of the project to also act as a secondary erosion erosion control. Compost logs shall be used, no hay bales or plastic meshing allowed.
Okay, well, if the commission has no further questions at this time, then we could open that up to anybody who's in attendance want to speak on this matter.
I promoted Janelyn Spratt to a panelist, and after that there's one more person in the audience. They don't have a name though, so we just have to tread a little lightly when I unmute them, just in case it's a hacker from Russia or something. But Janelyn has been made into a panelist, so she can unmute herself and start her video if she wishes.
Still muted.
Well, I can unmute her, but once I put you to a panelist, you have the ability to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
So, and I'm trying to unmute her and it's not working, so she's gonna have to do it herself.
There we go.
Janelyn, you have the mic.
It's connecting.
And perhaps this Galaxy is her phone. I'm gonna let the Galaxy, it says Galaxy S8. I'm gonna allow this person to talk. I don't know who it is. So if something happens, I will have to. Yep, that person's gonna get kicked out. I don't know what that was, but that's a typical hacker. So we don't need to, I mean, I don't know if PAT wants to look into who that was, if it was really someone. I kicked them out. They can try to come back in, but I'm not gonna let them speak. Maybe one more time.
I kind of like that.
What happened to Janelyn?
technical difficulties apparently. I don't know,
Yeah.
maybe that was her phone and it was reverbing, and because it sounded like that was my voice getting replayed over and over again, or was
Yeah.
someone making fun of me. That's what it seemed like to me. I was getting made fun of, but I'm really sensitive these days, so I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I just guess there's different degrees of hacking. I don't know what purpose that.
Oh yeah, you should have saw the ZBA. They had a fun one a couple weeks ago. Well, I know that the abutter really, the woman, I know Janelyn Spratt is 100% a resident of Peabody. I know her well. I know her property well. And I know she wanted to speak. So I am not sure what to do.
I think she called me. Yeah, she called me about a couple of weeks ago.
Is there a
And
phone
just to chime in, I don't think she had anything negative about the project, but
Is there a phone number alternative for her to call in, Lucia?
Yes, I just checked my email. I don't see anything in here from her. I mean, technically, you guys really shouldn't close the public hearing if she didn't have it. She could, you know, complain to the
Yeah,
that this was a violation of the open meeting law. So I wouldn't necessarily. I would maybe
Janice might have her phone number.
come back to this.
Janice
Because
might
I
have
don't
her
feel
phone number.
comfortable you guys continuing on knowing that I know that she wanted to speak tonight, whether for or against.
so if you want, we could just table this and move on to the next one, and then maybe by the
She
time we
just-
get to,
She just
Janice might have her
emailed
phone
me.
number. Can we turn on Janice? She might have her phone number.
Janice should be able to turn herself on.
Okay.
Is that on?
Yeah.
Is that on?
Yes, I can hear you,
Um,
Janice. Yes.
Yeah, I don't even know who it is, and I don't have her phone number.
Oh, you don't? Okay. You
I-
don't.
I don't know who it is. Yeah.
She just emailed me and I'm asking her to call in. Because at this point, I mean, I can't, she's sending me her email and her telephone number, but I mean, I can't, like, she needs to get back into the meeting. I can't like pull her into the meeting.
so
Janelle. Janelle Sprague, is that her
Tell
name?
her to verbally tell her that what the phone number is that she can call in directly to this meeting.
She should have just got it because she sent me an email and I have my out of it message on saying the meeting ID and all the ways that you can join.
Through the chair, I'd be comfortable with the recess to figure this out if everyone else would be.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm assuming that the Galaxy, the person that I removed that I thought was mocking me, it sounds like it was her. So I don't know what happened with her phone and why her phone was mocking me. So
okay,
978 is.
all right, so recess means what?
Go to the next item.
Go to the next item? Okay. Okay, let's do a recess.
Recent. Thanks.
Sorry about this.
No, that's all right. We just, they were going over stuff and when you were calling after you sent a message to Lucia, so, you know, if you've got any input, you know, they're basically going over the project now.
Yeah. Well, we really are not concerned, you know, as per our conversation.
Right.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that should something, we have responsibility on our deed to keep the waterway behind our house. None of the pictures showed it, but we have 130 feet of the stream, that stream.
Mm-hmm.
And the stream runs downhill, I mean, down into our yard.
Mm-hmm.
So you had it going the wrong way when you said something going downstream, you had to go the wrong way. Where she showed that picture of the fence in the foreground,
Mm-hmm.
it runs under the neighbor's, the stream runs under the neighbor's property and then into our property. And we're the last stop on the train.
Okay.
It goes out to the open wetland.
Okay.
So mostly, literally on our deed, we have the responsibility for maintaining and keeping open the water source. And, you know, we get everything that comes upstream. People dump their leaves, everything. So we mostly just, you know, who to call if we don't envision a problem. Not from, you know, you or from her, our neighbor, but we sure have had problems with things coming downstream. So we just want to know who to call and if there is a problem. I mean, probably Lucia would come out. She knows our property well. So that's really it.
Okay. Thanks.
Yeah, we have no problem with the project in theory whatsoever.
Well, I think the fact that the fence, stockade fence will stay in place during the work, that's gonna provide additional protection, not only from any runoff, but anything that may be on the ground. So that's really good that can stay there while they're building the addition.
There is one more hand raised when you have the chance, if you want me to open it again.
Okay.
I have promoted Russ to a panelist, so he should be able to unmute himself. And I'm sorry about all that. I'm the one who kind of started that whole like debauchery of what happened because I removed her and she wasn't able to get back in. I was just told if something starts like that to just get him out immediately so that we don't risk having something pornographic put on the screen or
It's okay.
swear word.
You're just doing what you thought was right.
Yeah, I couldn't get back in. That's what I said when she came. So,
Is Russ gonna speak?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
yeah, so you tell me if you don't mind when I'm okay to speak.
I think they're waiting for Russ to get on.
Okay.
Hello, Lucia. Can you hear me?
We hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
No, I was trying to get on to, I have no comments other than tell you that I tried talking earlier while you were having trouble getting a hold of the neighbor, and I just wanted to know if the system was working. Because I don't see the telephone number on the TV screen, and I'm looking at it on the computer.
Is this Russ Donovan?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
So I just wanted to check in with you guys. I'm watching you and just tell you that I did not see I see the telephone number now as I turn around, but okay. Thank you very much. No comments.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, did Jan Lee want to speak some more on this, or? Think you-
Yeah.
Yes, hi. We apologize for the problem and the delay. Can you hear me okay, everyone?
Yes.
Yep, okay. We have no problem with the project whatsoever. Our only concern is if there is any debris or silt that could make it into that stream, we're the first house that'll get the impact. The stream runs about 130 feet, the width of our property, right before it goes into the open wetlands and the National Grid property. And we actually have responsibility on our deed for keeping the waterway open and maintained. We do not envision a problem, I emphasize that, but we sure have had problems where we know people dump all their fall leaves in the stream. We'll suddenly have these huge batches coming down. We get garbage, we get everything. So we just wanted to make sure we knew who to call, and I guess that would be you, Lucia. In the very unlikely event that there is a problem, should we call you, or who should we call?
You can call Lucia.
Okay, as long as we know, again, we don't think that there's a problem, but as long as we know who to call, should there be a problem?
Yeah.
Because it'll be in our stream in the backyard.
Great. Now, Lucia had mentioned, Lucia had brought up some comments, some conditions, and most important would be the fence to remain in place during construction. Do you, Rob, do you feel that's okay? Can we assume that that's going to take place?
Yes. Yeah,
No,
that's
it's
our plan.
Because it is just it's just a garage, so there's just a slab on grade.
Well, there's footings around the
Footing,
perimeter
but there's no, yeah,
garage below the frost line.
yeah,
The contractor that Janice is engaging, at least in conversation, is feels he can work it from the existing bituminous driveway and excavate from there
okay,
without encroaching any further back.
great. Because you're only, yeah, you're only a few feet from the fence at one corner.
Yeah, it's close.
So that's just have to be careful there. But if that fence can stay in place, it's a great barrier.
The fence is not going up there. That's great.
So, excuse me for interrupting, Jan and Spratt again. We'll sign off. We have no problem with the project whatsoever. It sounds like, plenty of precautions are going to be taken. And as long as I know I can call Lucia, should there be a problem, we're fine.
Okay,
Okay, so we'll sign off.
very good.
Thanks
Okay,
for
thank
calling.
you very much, and we apologize for
It's okay.
the
No,
delay.
no need to apologize.
I apologize. It was my fault.
Well, Galaxy S8 is not exactly my name. I thought I typed in my name, but that's my phone. So, good night to all.
Good night.
Good night.
I think those peregrines are playing games with the wires.
Falcon.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody who wanted to speak on this matter has spoken. Does anybody else in the commission have anything more to say? Seeing none, do I have a motion to close the hearing?
Move to close the public hearing.
Seconded.
Okay, I have a motion to close made by Arthur, seconded by Travis. I'm going to do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes?
Vice Chairman Comack,
Yes.
Commissioner Athos,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojcik.
Yes.
All right, it passes. It is closed.
Okay. Do I have a motion to issue a favorable order of conditions?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Bruce.
Or just a standard order or a PBD standard order or PBD standard order plus the two conditions that we discussed.
Yes,
PBD's
1 through 50 plus the number 51 that contained kind of 3 or 4 things in it.
Yep, 51 was all work must be done on the owner's property. No work shall be allowed on the paper street or the bank area. Erosion controls, 52, erosion controls must be inspected before work can commence. Fence should remain erected during the length of the project to also act as a secondary erosion control. Compost logs shall be used, no hay bales and no plastic meshing.
Okay, if you could just change that and say the fence shall remain.
Shall, great, yes.
Unless they tell us for some reason otherwise.
Right? Fence isn't going anywhere.
No, I know, I just said easy.
Yeah.
We can hear you, just so you know.
Oh. Wait, it's anything bad.
No, just
Sorry.
the fence is staying, yeah, that's.
Okay. Sounds like you had a cover, Lucia.
All right, so who made that motion?
I think the motion, I forget already.
I made the motion.
Seconded by,
Me. Bruce.
okay, I'm gonna do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes?
Vice Chairman Comack,
Yes.
Commissioner Athos,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojcik.
Yes.
All right, so it passes unanimously with those added conditions. And by law, I have 21 days after the close of this to get it out. And I normally try to get it out sooner than that if I know the person is ready to build ASAP. And there is a 10-day appeal period, and Rob should be able to explain that to the property owner.
Okay. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see at the time.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is under notices of intent. You okay to go, Lucia?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is under notice of intent, item number 4. That's a continued public hearing on notice of intent submitted by Joseph Salvaggio, the owner. Proposed project is the construction of a single-family home, attached garage, driveway, utilities, lawn, and stormwater features. The property is known as 73 Lake Street, map 45, lot 62 in the city of Peabody.
Hi, everyone. Joseph Salvaggio for 73 Lake Street. I was here last month. This is a continued meeting. Chairman Rizzo expressed some concern and wanted to reach out to DEP to make sure about comments. And we're here tonight to move forward.
Okay. The staff has no further comments. Lucia's notes. The commission reached out to DEP on number of times. And They have not responded. The DEP will not intervene unless there's an appeal. So DEP did not offer any more comments on this. Chris Mello reached out to me with the square footage of the building. And he concurs with the square footage. And that's kind of where we left off. Does the commission want to discuss this?
It's unfortunate that DEP didn't respond.
Bruce, you want to speak on this at all?
So yeah, my comments would, I don't have any further comments from what I said last meeting. It is my opinion. I have not heard back from DEP after numerous inquiries. I have checked the website all day, all week, and they have not put any new comments up. I imagine how this is going to play out is that the only way that DEP is going to be involved and intervene is if the abutters file a second appeal, then they would intervene and either have the plan changed or send it back to the commission and say, nope, this is what you're going to stay with the local commission. If you are looking to close and motion tonight, I would suggest adding the two conditions that were in the original order, which was, so it would be 1 through 50, adding 51, although there's no record or knowledge of a pipe, culvert, infrastructure under the existing lot. If a culvert, pipe, or any obstruction is encountered below the surface while doing soil borings, work will stop immediately. The general contractor or whomever is on site will cease and desist all work. They will contact the Department of Public Services and conservation staff immediately to come up with a remediation plan. He's already done several test pits on the site and they haven't found a culvert yet. And then 52 would be the condition that if the plan changes because of a culvert, an amendment must be filed. That's up to you guys because if he needs to change the plan, that's the plan you guys approved. And if a culvert's right in the middle of it and he can't build a house, obviously he's going to have to do something.
Yep. No, those are good, Lucia. I like those.
Through the chair.
Yes.
Lucia, do I have voting rights on this piece?
You always have voting rights. You were a full-time commissioner for a long time, Travis.
I didn't know if it was because it was continued from the previous meeting.
Oh, good
you weren't
point.
there, right?
Good point. Yeah, they took away the Mullen rule. Is that what it's called? I can't even remember anymore.
Yeah.
Yes, you are correct.
Only those who were in attendance can vote.
So who was at attendance? Then I need to look that up because if we don't have a proper quorum, let me look real quick who was at that meeting.
We talking about last month's meeting or the meeting originally years ago or months ago?
Last month's meeting.
I don't know if we had a vote last meeting.
I was there. Bruce was there. Stuart was there. He wasn't
Martha,
there.
you were
Not
here.
here tonight.
I was there.
Yep, it would be Chairman Rizzo, Vice Chairman Comack, Commissioner Vivaldi, and Commissioner Athos and Amanda. Yes.
Okay, good. All right. Is that so? Anybody in the commission want to speak on this at all before we let anybody who may be here in attendance to speak again?
Through the chair,
Yes,
the only thing I have to say is I feel like we're,
you gotta speak up, Bruce. I can't hear you.
can you hear me now?
Barely, yeah.
Hold on.
Turn it up.
How about now? Better?
Same for me.
Okay. Can anybody else hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Okay. The only thing I have to say is we've gone around and around on this. I don't see any reason to go over everything again. We were all we voted in favor of it a long time ago, and it was appealed, and they came down, and the DEP came down. They have no comments. From what I was told, and I talked to a DEP, I'm sorry, I did not talk to him. The way it was left with me was, the only way that DEP would make a comment would be if there was a problem. When they originally came back, the only thing they originally came back and said is that we didn't hold the meeting correctly. We should have, that he had to file an NOI. There was nothing wrong with what we did. So, I was in favor of the project. I still am in favor of the project. I don't know what else is left to be said. I know the abutters will probably have some comments. But DEP has had adequate time to weigh in on it if they thought there was a problem. That's all I have to say.
Okay.
And through the chair, Travis, you can join in the discussion. You just cannot vote.
Great. Thank you. On that note, I'd like to join the discussion.
Okay.
There is already an NOI that's been permitted. There's an order of conditions, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Because me personally, if I were here voting tonight, I don't think that I would be voting for another permit to be issued. Whatever the board decides is what the board decides, but I wouldn't be, me personally, I would not be voting in favor of a second order of conditions when we've already permitted one. So that's all I have to add.
Okay. Anybody else?
Through the chair, I did just, as Travis, thank you for being here because he just jogged my memory. If that is the case and you guys are going to close this tonight and issue a new permit, DEP does have a number policy. So you cannot have two open orders of conditions, and the 53 would be, condition 53 would be that they have to close out that original with a certificate of compliance, like after the 10-day appeal period, or, once the appeal period is over, you would give them a grace period to close that out, because DEP is going to need them to close it out as we are going to need that closed out.
But because we can still add more conditions though, correct?
This is a new NOI, so you can add whatever you want,
Okay.
but he cannot have two orders of conditions on the
Oh,
same.
okay, yeah, right, so we would close out the other and issue this one. Okay. Okay, so hearing no other comments from the commission, Lucia, if there are if people there want to speak on this, they can. We've gone through this many times, so maybe just keep the comments. It's probably gonna be the same as last time, and try to either keep it something new or just keep your comment brief if you could.
I have promoted everyone to a panelist, and there is a city councilor in the audience as well, so you might want to let him speak first. Councilor O'Neill is here.
Okay.
Thank you very much. I have no comment. I just wanted to watch this proceeding tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
So are there any members of the public who would like to speak? You can raise your hand.
Okay.
Lucia?
Hi, can you hear me? Hello?
Yes,
Well, nothing further to say other than I'll just, the abutters will get together and discuss whether to appeal it or not.
okay. Thank you for that.
Lucia?
I have no further comments, except for the recommended conditions I just stated.
Lucia, can you hear me?
Anybody else?
Oh, I think, I don't know, someone that, I thought you guys were saying Lucia.
I
I-
am, Lucia, it's Russ.
Okay, hi Russell. I thought you guys were asking me. I was like,
Just a clarification, for the record, name's Russell Donovan. I live on Quail Road in South Peabody. You're gonna close out the first order of conditions and open up a new order of conditions, is that correct?
I don't think that is something that Joe would want to do until he knows that this order of conditions has passed its appeal period, because then he'll have no orders of conditions. So, I mean,
Well, you said the DPE couldn't have two orders of conditions or something like that.
that is correct. That is why I was saying they would have to add condition number 53, that he has a certain amount of time. DEP will allow a certain amount of time. They understand things like this happen often. So, I mean, it would behoove him to keep his original order open until it expires. I think it expires in September of this year. So again, if he doesn't do anything, it expires anyway and it's invalid, but he should close it out with a certificate of compliance request. But that is something I have already spoken to him about months ago, and that he would wait until he knows that he can build with this. Otherwise, he's gonna have 0 permits.
So you're gonna amend the original order of conditions to add 53?
No, the amended order of conditions was appealed, and he has an original order of conditions with a small house on it, but he does not want to build that house anymore. So
Yeah,
that is still open and valid until September of this year. He is now filing a new notice of intent with that order still open. So the DEP policy says they understand that this happens sometimes from time to time. So he's going to have to commit tonight to close that out within a certain number of, after the appeal period. The condition would go something like, following the appeal period, the property owner needs to submit a request for certificate of compliance within 21 days. It's however many days the commission wants.
Well, what I'm trying to get at is here, you put an order of conditions, if he found a pipe or culvert, he had to stop and immediately notify the city's boards, whatever, DEP, or Department of Public Works or whoever. That's gonna be a new part of the order of conditions.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be, you're gonna enact that tonight. That's what I'm trying to get at. So if he's still working on an old order of conditions, he doesn't have that requirement.
That's correct.
That condition was actually on the original order anyway. So we're just we're taking those conditions and putting it on a new order
All right,
with a
thank you very
larger
much.
house footprint.
Thank you. I'm all set.
Anybody else who wants to speak? Okay, seeing none, then we have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
there a second?
Second,
I'm gonna do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes?
Vice Chairman Comack,
yes.
Commissioner Athos,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi.
Yes.
All right, so the motion passes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. With Commissioner Wojcik voting present because he cannot vote.
Okay. We have a motion to issue a order of conditions for this project.
I'll make a motion to issue a favorable order of conditions with all the past conditions plus this new condition that the applicant agrees to close out the old order upon 21 days after ending of the appeal period.
Seconded.
Okay,
I'm gonna do a roll call. That motion was made by Vivaldi, seconded by Commissioner Green. So we have a motion on the floor, order of conditions 1 through 50, adding condition 51. If the plan, where is it? Although there's no record, the culvert, emergency action plan, 52, if there's any plan changes because of the culvert, an amendment must be filed. And 53, the applicant will need to close out the old order of conditions. Do you guys want to give him a time frame? Because if you leave it open, then he's going to have 2 orders, and I can't go chasing around people for orders of conditions getting closed out.
can we do 21 days?
Is that enough or too much,
I
or?
was gonna say, I don't think it's enough.
Why wouldn't it be? Because once the appeal period's over, he has a new permit. Why
Right.
would 21 days be too much for him? He would have 21 days to at least get the paperwork. I mean, it's up to you if you guys want to give him 2 months. I just know I'm not going to have time to remember to chase him until he, I mean, he won't be able to start work. It's whatever condition you guys want to put it on it.
All right, let's have 2 months.
Or 45 days,
6 weeks.
yeah.
Well, he shouldn't be starting work with 2 orders open anyway, so I would imagine Joe would be pretty proactive about it because he
Right.
wants to build this.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll be very happy to close out the original order, as soon as the appeal period is ended.
Okay, we'll go with the 2 months, just in case.
So 2 months or before work starts,
Right,
That sounds right.
whichever is sooner.
very good. Okay.
Did I do a roll call?
No,
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
yes,
Vice Chairman Comack,
Yes,
Commissioner Athos,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi.
Yes.
Okay, so it passes 5-1 with Commissioner Wojcik not voting.
very good, thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all.
Take care, everyone.
Okay. Next item on the agenda is item number 5. Under notice of intent. and this is a continuation. It's continued public hearing on a notice of intent submitted by attorney John R. Kelty or Joseph Ruggiero, applicant, and to Disco Properties LLC. The proposed project is the renovation of existing professional office building to a funeral home with access to egress alteration upgrade in the riverfront and FEMA flood zone. This is an after-the-fact filing. Work has commenced but has been halted by the building department. Property is known as 10 Chestnut Street, map 85, lot 187 in the city of Peterborough.
Attorney Kilty sent me a request for a continuance until April. And today I do want to let you guys know I received correspondence from a very angry resident. And he was very angry with me. For some reason, he thinks it's my problem that the building department gave him a permit. And then I explained to him that I asked him to file the NOI, and that's why it's an after the fact filing. So Mr. Ruggiero was actually, he was responsive at one point. It took him a few months. And I also received an email from our Honorable State Representative Sally Cairns, or Cairns. So I do anticipate this being a hot item next month. I still have not gotten any feedback from the engineer of record, Clayton Moran. It sounded like they may be changing to a different engineer. So that is all I have right now. They are asking for a continuance.
Okay. Motion to continue to April.
So moved.
Second.
Second by
All right.
Arthur.
Yep, I have a motion from Travis, seconded by Arthur Athos. I'm going to do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Comack,
Yes.
Commissioner Athos,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojcik. Great. I know you made the motion.
I was gonna say, sorry, I was on a different screen looking at the plan. Yes.
All right, so the item is continued until April. And I anticipate April is going to be a very long meeting.
They all
Okay.
are.
Moving forward. Next on the agenda, the certificates of compliance. Item number 6, the continued request for a full certificate of compliance as made by William Manuel, Wetlands Management, for Roy Simmons, a PVD municipal light plant for DEP file number 55-840. Project was known as PMLP substation at Russell Street.
Good evening, everyone. Bill Manuel here from Wetlands and Land Management. Roy Simoes is also tuned in. And we are here for a full certificate of compliance to close out the project for the not only the construction of the new substation, but also the abandonment of the old substation. We met with Lucia on site with Will Paulitz last week. Was it last week or anyway? They wanted a couple of quick additions to the as-built plans that were submitted. Those were provided by Roy yesterday and today. They included some of the riprap that was on the perimeter of the new substation, adding the impermeable membrane around the infiltration areas, and it's showing a couple of outlet pipes from overflow pipes from the infiltration area. And today we have provided a certifying letter from the engineer of record that certified that the infiltration areas were constructed of the appropriate size and according to plan, and that all of the compensatory flood storage area was provided. In fact, it was provided almost tenfold. So the area is completely stabilized. I've been doing seasonal monitoring reports. I've done 2 of those now for the compliance with the 401 water quality certification. things are going tremendous. But as far as the order of conditions, that is ready to be closed out, and we're asking for a full certificate of compliance.
Very good. I walk by there all the time, 2-3 times a week. So, looks good. Lucia?
Yes, I have not heard back from Will Politz yet today. I'm sure he's extremely busy. My 2 cents would be I would recommend a full certificate of compliance, as long as you guys are okay with the restoration area and the growing seasons. I already did talk to about this with Bill. It sounds like per the water quality cert, there is still one more monitoring report, and I would say that that should be conditioned in the full certificate, that we also receive a copy of that via email. And I would recommend holding off on the issuance until Will Politz does a firm sign off on the engineering. When I was out on site that day, it was March 15th, the coldest day. It was like 18 degrees or something. I did see a coyote, so wildlife are already using this area. It was pretty fascinating for me. I don't see coyotes often because I live in the city.
Just want you to know I was gonna be in attendance to that site meeting, but I was called out that morning for a special meeting at my office and I could not go.
Thought you were retired.
Sounds like it is looking pretty good. Can we just issue the full cert with the condition? Do I have to make a motion on that, or do we have to open it to the public? I'm a little rusty.
I don't see anyone in the public anyway, and technically we are at a public meeting, but a certificate of compliance, the only requirement is that we have to have a quorum. You don't technically need to open it up to members of the public, but we always do welcome members of the public to comment. So I would just like to reiterate again, Will Politz has not signed off on the engineering yet. So I would just say a full certificate. My recommendation would be a full certificate with the condition that the final monitoring report per the water quality cert is also copied to us, and that it is held, the certificate is held until we get the okay from Will Politz.
So moved.
Second on that?
Second.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and do a roll call. Motion to issue a full certificate with the one condition in the holding the permit until Will Politz signs off, as made by Travis, seconded by author or Michael Vivaldi? Was it Vivaldi who seconded it?
I seconded it.
Okay, so Travis, Vivaldi, and I will do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Comack,
Yes.
Commissioner Athos,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojcik.
Yes.
All right, it passes with those 2 stipulations.
All right, thank you very much, commissioners. And also Lucia, thanks for working through all this last minute stuff.
No problem.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the commission as well. This has been a long road, and we're just one more step away from just letting it go and do what it needs to do out there. And I assure you, we will keep that place looking just about as good as it looks right now into the years to come.
You did a nice job, boy. Looks good.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for the increased resiliency too.
Not a problem. Multiple redundancy.
Okay. Okay, next item on the agenda is it's under certificates of compliance. Item number 7. It's a continued request for a full certificate of compliance as made by Peter Lasdell Jr. from Williams and Asparagus on behalf of AM Concord Patrick Coburn for DEP file number 55-865. Project was the construction of commercial building and parking area, demo, rebuild, stormwater features and parking. Address is known as 3 Mount Pleasant Drive, map 29, lot 6 in the city of Peabody.
They are asking for a continuance as they need to put a sidewalk in, and they still have some issues with the size and shape of their basin.
Okay,
So moved.
second on the continuance.
Second.
I'm gonna go ahead.
Go ahead.
There's a motion by Travis, seconded by Arthur to continue the item until April 21. Gonna do a roll call. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Comack,
Yes.
Commissioner Athos,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojak.
Yes.
All right, the item passes, it's continued until April. As I said, that's why April's gonna be a really long one.
All right. Item number 8 is also under certificates of compliance. The continued request for full certificate of compliance made by Frederick Hostrup from Neptune Engineering on behalf of 160 Main Street Realty LLC, Nikolai Polinovsky, for DEP file number 55-793. The project was a redevelopment of a previously degraded site for commercial and residential use. The address is known as 166 Main Street, map 86, lot 150B in the city of Peabody.
That was continued until June of 2021. At this point, I think it's a little too early for him to start planting just yet. So I've always been told the magic number for planting is probably around June 15th if you don't want to waste your money. But Bruce can probably talk better on that.
Well, it's as long as he can water it, he can plant at any time, but that's fine.
Okay,
So should I start telling him to plant stuff now then?
He can plant as soon as he can get the material.
Yeah, material's not even around yet.
The material's not in yet, so, but within, 3-4 weeks, it'll all be in.
So what should I tell him? Like,
I think he should, the ideal time to plant would be end of April.
okay, I will send him an email then.
Okay.
And just say you better start getting stuff ready for end of April. And then, so you guys do not need to make a motion for that. The next item, you actually do not need to make a motion for either 44 Bartholomew enforcement order. I was kind of hoping Bill Manuel is still going to be on, because the reason why I left it on is because right about now is when maybe Bill might want to go out and see what the site looks like. So I'll get in touch with Bill.
okay. Very good. So we got minutes.
You should have been emailed December and February, yes.
Okay. Motion approved.
So moved.
Second.
And I think this is when you guys can probably just raise your hands because it's just minutes. If you want to raise your hand if you accept the minutes. I see everybody except Bruce. Okay, cool. Thank you.
How's that? My hand raised?
Yep.
Well, so that's it. So I have a motion to adjourn. Or you want, anything you want to discuss? How's, I talked to Stu the other day. He seemed okay.
Yeah, I'm surprised he wasn't at the meeting tonight.
Yeah, I would prefer to not talk about Stu's personal life on live TV. If we want to adjourn first, maybe, and then we can stick around.
Motion.
Before we talk about that through the chair to the chair, is there any update on the trash on the railroad bed?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Apparently I'm the trash person now. I think this is really important, and you guys as PBD residents should really maybe echo this to your city councilors. You guys need to get lids on your bins. And because people, like, I drive through there on trash day and there's like 5 bags out that aren't even tied, and there's stuff blowing out of bins. And I can write enforcements all day long, and if you don't fix the problem from where it's starting, and I mean, I have a feel, I already know that the railroad is going to get back to me, and we have reached out to them, and of course we got like this ridiculous email response. So I am in the process of drafting a violation at this point, but I already know back in 2019, you guys were at a meeting, or most of you were at a meeting with Crown and Shield when they were, Travis, you were at that parking lot with me. Remember, we saw those people having fun in the parking lot?
Yeah.
What's happening is people come and they bring their trash, like they'll, it's
They
all
just dump it.
plastic. And,
Yeah.
and it's also just like plastic, like
batteries, wheels.
Recycle bins? You talking about recycling bins?
everything's down. Like there's just trash everywhere in the city, definitely along the railroad tracks on Warren Street. And in 2019, when Crown and Shield was in front of us, you guys did make a motion. A condition on their project was that the motion read that they have to work with the city to clean that. They were not taking responsibility to clean it, nor do I think they need to. So what's going to happen is if the city doesn't have a trash barrel ordinance regarding everyone to have lids on the top, this is just going to keep on happening. You can keep on cleaning it up, and I'm just going to keep on wasting my time issuing enforcement orders on deaf ears. And
yeah.
So, I mean, Salem, not to talk about how awesome the city is I live in, but when we first were required, I think we have waste management. When we all got our one recycling bin and one garbage bin, and they have a flip lid on them. And I was not happy when we first got them because they're giant and they're annoying, and I love them. I never want to go back to having to buy my own bins with lids, because I've heard it from everyone. The lids blows off, people are running down the street after it, recycling bins are getting stolen. In Salem, we all have a number on our bin that it's issued to us. So you can't really steal someone's bin because they'll find it. And everyone just like writes on it, with paint that it's what their address is, and everyone gets it for free. So no one really steals other people's bins. And we definitely still have trash, but it's nothing like what I see in Peabody.
Yeah, the recycle bins are open, the blue ones. And
the green one.
One thing I found, and I went chasing after them last Friday, is when the recycle people come by and they pick up the bins. Granted, if it's windy, sometimes the stuff can blow out of the bin and it ends up in my yard, and I had to go pick everybody's trash up. But last week, they had my bin, and this happens all the time. So they empty my bin and stuff falls out while they're emptying it, and they just step over it and leave it in the middle of the street and leave. They don't pick it up. And I chased them down the street last Friday. And that needs to be discussed with the city.
Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a way that the trash company can, I mean, maybe I'm naive by thinking in the year 2021 that they can retrofit a trash truck to be similar to the trash trucks in Salem. Maybe I'm naive, but I feel like there's got to be some engineering out there to retrofit these trucks. I mean, I also don't have a lot of bandwidth to start looking into trash in the city. It's really not my purview as the conservation agent. I'm involved because right now it's in wetlands, but it's really something that we need to do this citywide. Someone needs to look into, you know, maybe whatever the price tag is. I mean, I have a feeling, and I think that this was in front of city council. And then when they figured out what the price tag was, I don't know. I wasn't at that city council meeting. I haven't had a chance to even look at the ordinance about it yet. I haven't even issued a violation order to the railroad. But I mean, I feel like there's got to be some grants or something. I'm pretty sure Salem had funding. But again, I really just do not have the bandwidth to start looking into changing Peabody's trash. I can't even do my own job right now.
Well, one simple thing is to get a message to the recycle collectors who's ever running the company to inform their employees, once you picked up that bin to empty it, you better make sure that every bit of that gets in the truck. And if anything drops out, you have to pick it up.
But would that be under our, I mean, that's really not under our umbrella. I mean, I'm only working on this because it's in wetlands, and I'm just trying to get a solution so that we don't keep doing this every 3 months.
Yeah.
And I don't think that there is a solution for the railroad. I think the only solution for the railroad is either turn it into a bike path or turn it into active rail again. I don't think it's going to be cleaned until the railroad decides to do one of those two things. I think it's just going to keep, like, people are just going to keep dumping their trash there. It's not surveilled. It's just going to be a waste ground.
Yeah.
Can I say, I think if we focus on the recycling bins, because we put trash in there and it's plastic and a little gust of wind, it's out of the bins. If we perhaps look to having the city provide a little bit bigger recycling bin with seal tops or those flip tops that you fold down on, so they're not open, because I think that would be a cheaper alternative than retrofitting all the trash trucks or going to the Salem road, which I don't like that, having to do that.
My bin is broken. It's cracked.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, I know. Well, I have
They just throw them.
my bin's an antique, it's 20 years old. But maybe there'd be an alternative recycling bin. It's not huge, but bigger, and has a flip top on it that would keep the plastics, things, and papers inside the recycling, and just kind of go small and see if that can be done through the recycling company.
Whenever it's windy, my neighborhood looks like a disaster zone.
Right. It's a wind tunnel on Linfield Street. I mean, it's like 20-mile-per-hour winds in the backyard. You go out on the street, it's like 40-mile-per-hour winds. It's just...
And I think most of it comes from the recycled bins. You know, but people are doing the right thing by recycling, but it's not secured well enough into the bin because the stuff flows out. Most of the trash that goes to the landfill, most people have that in plastic bags.
Yeah, and it's inside a big barrel, so it's not going to blow up. Yeah. Anyway, should we write a little draft letter or something to the city council or for something?
I'm interested in individual advocacy.
Yeah, I mean, I've been working closely with Councilor McGinn on this when I have time, because as I said, my bandwidth is getting smaller and smaller every day. So he is definitely aware of this. I do think it needs to come from the community. not me, the agent, telling you guys how to do stuff in Peabody. Just, it's my observation of one town from the next and seeing how the towns are different. And I just know that if you give people bins with lids on them, they are going to use them. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I will keep working with Councilor McGinn on this. I just, you know, it's a lot of work to put on me to have me start advocating for trash disposal in the city. It's really a health issue until it ends up in the wetlands, and that's why it's our issue. I just want to come up with a solution so that I'm not the go-to person all the time when no one else wants to get in touch with a violator.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just always fall on us.
Right. Well, on that note, I'll make I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
Second that.
All right.
I'm gonna do a roll call. It's made by Travis, seconded by Arthur at 9:32. Chairman Rizzo,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Comack,
Yes.
Commissioner Athos,
Yes.
Commissioner Green,
Yes.
Commissioner Vivaldi,
Yes.
Commissioner Wojak.
Yes.
All right, the meeting adjourns at 9:33.
Good night, all.
Night.
Stay safe and healthy.
Yeah. Good night.